What is going on, everyone? This is the Fantasy Aces podcast. I'm your host, Joe Bevilacqua, and all I want for Christmas is a new offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. That's all I want. That's really all I want. I know many of you guys want your own needs and your coaching staff, but my God, is our offense terrible right now. All right, guys. We're gonna have a big episode today. We're gonna be doing a playoff bowl, so we're gonna be drafting our playoff teams from week 14 to 16. We're also gonna be doing the waiver wire for week 14, just picking up any last guys that you need during the playoffs. And then we are also going to be doing It Is Decided. Fantasy players we were hesitant about, but now we can establish that they will be good starters in the playoffs. And any mailbag questions if we have time. But Sonny, how you feeling, man? How's it going?
I don't know. I don't know how to feel, honestly. I mean, how about some respect to the NFC East? You know, we had the Colt McCoy-led Giants knocking off Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. We had the Washington football team led by Alex Smith knocking off the undefeated Steelers. And then, hey, who knows? Maybe today, Andy Dalton, the Cowboys against the Ravens. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Those were some pretty big upsets right there. Mike, what an exciting game you had to deal with this week, huh?
Oh my goodness! Just that at the end there, man, and like before the Ruggs play, Aguilar was wide open in the end zone too, and they're like, "No, we're not gonna change the defense. We're just gonna keep that one, the play that almost got a touchdown." And then the next thing, same concept, boom, touchdown, Ruggs. I guess it's no one's gonna do that again. No one's gonna do that anymore.
They just know how to tank. I mean, we were this close to having two New York teams win on the same day. I mean, so close, but they just know how to tank, I guess.
The memes are insane. It was like literally like Madden plays
Didn't
that you would
Buffalo
have for
win?
each team.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the next day.
Oh, I mean, Josh Allen, by the way, looked phenomenal last night. I mean, mad respect. What a performance.
No, there were some crazy goal line stops in that game as well, so that was pretty impressive as well. But, I mean, there's exciting games all around the board. That's what we get from the NFL each week. I also want to mention before we get to the news rundown, between me and Nate in the Fantasy Aces League, he lost by 2 points, not against me directly, but indirectly for him to get into the playoffs if he wins this week. All I needed was Deebo Samuel to get like 13 points. I believe he ended up with like 15 or 16, and I had more points for than Nate did, and because of that, he will not be going to the playoffs. I will. So that is pretty darn close for our league.
I mean, how ironic is it that he was talking about sitting Deebo last week, and now it kind of stabbed him in the back? So
that was a double stab in the back.
Yeah.
All right, getting into some news rundown around the league. Gruden is not confident that Josh Jacobs will be returning in week 14. The Ravens will activate Lamar Jackson. Is he playing tonight? I believe he is.
So.
Yeah, because he's activated. And Daniel Jones is also optimistic that he will play in week 14, but we're going to have to see about that. He's optimistic, not really his health and training staff. And Panthers, DJ Moore is among the receivers being added to the COVID-19 list, so we have to see how long he will play out, which puts implications towards our Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore that we have, our DJ Moore bet that we have going on. And then Jalen Hurts will be the quarterback for the next Eagles game. Finally. I mean, we saw what he did against the Packers. He really escaped all that terrible blocking from the offensive line just to get some passes in, so that was pretty impressive. All right. Looking at fantasy takeaways in the waiver wire for week 14. We're going to give it away with Sonny first. Give us your fantasy takeaways in waiver wires for week 14.
Yeah, I mean, you guys heard me last week talk about Matthew Stafford being a potential league winner. And I mean, first game without Patricia, I mean, they're finally letting him cook. I mean, 402 yards and 3 touchdowns against the tough Bears defense. And, you know, hopefully Kenny Golladay comes back just in time for the playoffs. DeAndre Swift will hopefully be back. So, you know, the offense looks great. Matthew Stafford looks great. So, you know, if he's available, please grab him because this guy can, again, be a league winner. And if you're someone dealing with, you know, injuries, if you're worried about Kyler Murray's shoulder, or if you've been carrying around Taysom Hill or whatever, just make sure he's on a roster because, you know, this guy he could make the difference in your league. And then someone else who's actually been on a roll, and I actually think his season's being very underrated is Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk Cousins has been phenomenal. He's had over 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in his last 3 games. And I mean, now he gets to go up against a Tampa Bay defense who has a solid run defense. You know, I don't know how much success Dalvin Cook's going to have, but I mean, their last 2 games, they gave up 462 yards and 3 touchdowns to Mahomes. And the week before that, they gave up 376 yards and 3 touchdowns to Jared Goff. So, you know, I think Kirk Cousins in position to keep it rolling. And, you know, with Thielen and Jefferson, you know, he has a bunch of pass catchers to put up another big day. And then the other guy I want to talk about is Philip Rivers. You know, T.Y. Hilton finally looking like his old self. Michael Pittman's emerging. You know, he's got a trio of tight ends, and he's thrown for over 280 yards and multiple touchdowns in 3 games. And now he gets to face the Raiders, who the Jets almost upset, and then another game with Houston, who he had a field day with. So, you know, he has a good-looking schedule. And, I mean, so, yeah, I mean, if you're dealing with, again, with injuries or, you know, even like someone like Matt Ryan, you know, I would take these guys because, you know, I don't want to bite the bullet on him in case Julio pulls a hamstring or something. So these 3 guys, you know, make sure they're on a roster because they can definitely save you in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I'm very disappointed also by Matt Ryan's, you know, output. Looking at his rankings right now in fantasy, he's actually really below where he usually is.
Yeah, and that's
I
the
would agree
thing,
with
you
that.
know. Yeah, I mean, I want security at my position. You know, even someone like Big Ben, you know, I can't risk my quarterback taking a hit in the first quarter and giving me, you know, -2 points or something. So, you know, it's always important to be safe, but, you know, it's always worth the risk too.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. All right, Mike, you are our wide receivers for the waiver wire. Why don't you run us down some wide receivers?
Yeah, I'll go with both Colts wide receivers are under 50%. T.Y. Hilton's at 47% on ESPN leagues, and Michael Pittman's at 42%. I wouldn't say T.Y. Hilton's looking just like his old self, maybe a couple steps behind, but that's still good enough. He's had 18 points versus the Titans, 29 points versus the Texans. So, yeah, I mean, he's rolling. He doesn't like he's got fresh legs at this time of year, so that's, you know, pretty good. And then Michael Pittman, he's getting the same amount of targets. Even if like his fantasy points are down, the targets are still, you know, great every week. And then they go against Vegas and Houston and Pittsburgh, so they could be in some shootouts there, like with Philip Rivers. And then I guess the last one was Kiki Kuti. I don't know how you say it, but he had 8 receptions for 141 yards, and he's owned in 12% of leagues, and that was his first real opportunity. So, it's a pro there. Was he? Did he get injured? Did he come back? What do you guys know what the deal there was?
So Brandon Cooks actually is the one that got banged up, you know, and I mean he came back in the game, but Brandon Cooks has a history of concussions. But I mean, it looked like Kiki QT was like the primary beneficiary without Will Fuller. I mean, he looked like the wide receiver 1 in that offense. So again, I expect Cooks to, you know, come back fine, but I mean, I think you can plug in Kiki QT in the playoffs and feel good about it because, you know, when you got Deshaun Watson throwing you the ball, good things will happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And if to the viewers out there, if you had the opportunity to get Kiki and you didn't, geez, like honestly, geez, because this guy's gonna have a handful of opportunities on the Texans offense, and we clearly saw that. Yeah, but no, I would agree with all those wide receivers. I'm really optimistic, honestly, about T.Y. Hill, and I agree he's not his full self, but I think the Colts offense is clicking more, which gives them those opportunities. But I like T.Y. Hilton as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's another thing about T.Y. Hilton is, I mean, he has a history of just dominating the Texans. You know, maybe he can just do it against the Texans, but I mean, the good thing is he faces the Texans in 2 more weeks.
He
So, you know,
does.
things that you can rely on. It's like Derek Carr against the Chiefs, Lockett versus the Cardinals, and now Hilton versus the Texans. I mean, you might as well just take him now and play him in week 15.
I definitely agree with that. And, you know, he has such a low roster percentage, you know, just from the start and throughout the season. Not many people really drafted him, so it's kind of interesting to see a late spark from him.
But
All right.
one more thing in terms of Kiki QT, I wouldn't play him this week. Chicago.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're gonna say that, Matthew Stafford again did have 402 yards and 3 touchdowns, and I mean the way I see it, someone's got to catch the ball. So me personally, I mean,
This
I would
one's
be
in
firing him up.
Chicago. I don't know.
It's rough,
I
but
mean,
the Bears defense is doing really bad lately, especially
yeah,
in the
I mean,
passing game. So
they're getting exposed. I mean, we're talking about Deshaun Watson here.
I don't want to
Uh,
get too into it, but Akeem Hicks is that detrimental to the Chicago Bears defense because when he's not in the lineup, they're like just that much worse when it comes to their passing game. And I mean, he just puts pressure on the quarterback, but he's a big difference in the Bears defense. But like you said, someone's got to start with, at wide receiver. So he's going to get some opportunities. All right. So I'm running backs for week 14. I'm going to start off with Peyton Barber. I don't know how bad Antonio Gibson's injury is, but if he is missing from the backfield, there's no way J.D. McKissic is going to take the whole backfield. I think it's going to be split. And Peyton Barber also had around 8 points when he came in late, so I think he could be a good option at running back. And then Adrian Peterson, he's still rostered in less than 50% of the leagues. I know DeAndre Swift's coming back, but he's going to be coming back for the passing game, for third downs. If you want a red zone touchdown guy, it's probably going to be Adrian Peterson, especially with this revamped Lions offense. They're going to get more red zone opportunities. He had 17 points in 2 straight weeks. I would definitely have Adrian Peterson ready. And then Ty Johnson. I mean, against the Raiders, this guy had 22 carries, 104 yards, and 1 touchdown. It's still hard to do that in Madden right now. Like, that's insane. 19.70 points for a guy that, really hasn't had a chance in the NFL. Frank Gore is going to be missing with the injury. We don't know how long it's going to be. So I think he's a good opportunity to have in the backfield.
Your boy, though, looked better.
He did look better.
Your boy, Josh Adams. We're referring to Josh Adams, the running back, who is a monster. I mean, I watched the Raiders game, obviously. He's huge. He's fast. He bursts through the hole quick. I would be surprised if that timeshare is still more heavily leaning towards the other guy. What was his name? Ty Johnson.
Yeah, Ty Johnson.
Yeah, I would be surprised
if the backfield.
I would think it'd be an even split there, just because Adams showed that he is a legit NFL player.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
And what about the Cam Akers? He's also coming off a career high 22 touches, 94 yards, and a touchdown, and now back-to-back games with over 80 yards and a touchdown. So,
that's true. I didn't check his roster percentage. I'm assuming most people have him.
I think on ESPN, it was like around 30-something% roster.
Okay, 30%. Okay, so he's still less than AP. Yeah, that's definitely another doable guy to have. But those are my 3 running backs. Nate, unfortunately, is not with us today, and he had tight end. So do any of you guys have a tight end on the waiver wire that you'd want to pick up in week 14?
I mean, after last night, we got to talk about Logan Thomas. I mean,
he's back-to-back weeks. The week before, he was amazing as well. The guy's playing outstanding.
With how thin the position is at tight end, I mean, this guy needs to be in starting lineups. I mean, what was it, 9 for 98 and a touchdown? We saw him on Thanksgiving too, line up at quarterback and throw the ball. So it's someone they want to get involved. He had, that sick one-handed grab. I mean, I love the dude. So if he's available, I mean, he should be number 1 on the list.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We all have to agree. Are we rooting for the Washington football team? Right now, I think they're doing an outstanding job. I'm really rooting for them to make a push in the playoffs. Even the Giants right now.
Well, I live there, so by osmosis.
True. Yeah, I'm all on board. I'm all aboard the hype train,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
All right, so Logan Thomas, Mike, do you have any tight ends that you would have come off the waiver wire?
Well, I mean,
I did almost sin.
It's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about. I mean, we could talk about Jordan Reed. I mean, he caught a touchdown last night, but on that,
Dalton Schultz is still only rostered in 30% of leagues, and that's what I would say.
The Dalton to Dalton connection, and now Andy Dalton revenge game in Cincinnati, a terrible, terrible defense against tight ends. So I actually really do like Dalton Schultz this week. And and then another thing,
and in an hour.
Yeah, and then also before we move on, some defense to talk about. The Niners are still available, and they got our team. They got the Washington football team, so they look good. We got Arizona against the Giants. Maybe it's Colt McCoy, maybe it's the turnover-prone Daniel Jones, and then you can go back to the Washington football team going up against Nick Mullins, the Niners. So those are 3 defenses that should be available if you need one this week.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, it is time to get to the playoff bowl for 2020. I believe. Let me just continue. All right, so we're going to be doing a snake format. Since Nate is not here, I will be picking his team for him. And then it'll be Sonny in the second position, Mike in the third, and then it'll be me in the fourth. We are going to start off with Nate's pick. So he gave me his players that he wanted to have, and he's like, Joe, it's either between Nick Chubb and Delvin Cook, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to give him Nick Chubb in the first pick. I just think they're the hotter team right now, and Nick Chubb is really going active, so I will be giving Nick Chubb the first spot. All right, Sonny, you are up for the second spot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to go with the guy that we were actually talking about before broadcasting, and that's the man, Travis Kelce. I want that positional advantage. There's no one that comes close to him. Darren Waller, there's a big gap in between them. So, I had to take my guy, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, when you look on Instagram too, this guy is like the reason that most teams or most fantasy teams right now have a winning record. I mean, he's so pivotal to having the tight end position being just 100 points better than like the tight end 3. So that's a really good
Yeah,
pick
I mean, me personally, my team that I'm in first, where I got to buy in, I have Travis Kelce. He's the MVP of my team because he just carries me. Just having that advantage is huge.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. All right, Mike. Nick Chubb and Travis Kelce have went two of the legends of 2020. What position are you going to take in the third?
I'm going Darren Waller. I was pretty ecstatic that he wasn't that Nate didn't go tight end because I knew Sonny was going to, and obviously I was never going to take Travis Kelce, so because he's a Chief. But Darren Waller, I was going to take him with the first overall pick if I had that too. So.
All right, sounds good. We're gonna go with Darren Waller. All right, coming up to the turn, I have to take two people. I think I'm gonna go with my guy Devontae Adams. This guy's been unreal. I think he's the best, if not one of the best, wide receivers in the league.
Legit.
So he's definitely gonna be my guy in the first round. And coming back on the turn, this is rough, but I think I'm going to have to go with a running back. And I'm going to go with, this might be shocking, but this guy's on fire right now, and he has a great schedule coming up with Houston, the Vikings, and the Jags. I'm going to go with David Montgomery. He's the only guy running that backfield. He gets so many opportunities.
Wow,
he's going to be my guy. Yeah, no, he's got a great schedule. Like the Jags, Vikings, and Houston are terrible at stopping running back, so I'm going to pick David Montgomery with my second pick. Mike, you're up.
Oh, man. I'm going Derrick Henry.
All right.
Oh man, took my guy. I thought he was gonna fall.
I mean,
Mr.
That
December.
is definitely pivotal to have Derrick Henry in the playoff time. I mean, he's just completely on fire.
Joe, I'll give it to you. Taking Montgomery over the King, Derrick Henry.
I'm doing it.
Respect.
I'm gonna stick with it. Because you know why? I'm a little concerned about the Tennessee Titans right now and their consistency passing and running.
Man.
That defeat against the Browns, I think they cried for hours after they lost to the Browns by that much. So I'm a little worried about the Titans, but I mean it's Derrick Henry, so no, it's a great pick. Sonny, you're up.
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna go with, I know it's a little bit risky, but I'm taking Christian McCaffrey because I think he'll be back, and he was the preseason number one pick. I'm taking him. I'm biting the bullet on this one.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yep.
That's risky, man, because he can re-aggravate that shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right. So we got three running backs going.
Cojones there.
So David Montgomery, Derrick Henry, and C-Mac going all in the second round. Nate is up. I don't believe he would want another running back, so I'm gonna give him the guy that he loves that's on his team, and I'm gonna give him DK. I know he loves him. He's on his fantasy team in the Fantasy Aces Podcast League, so I'll give him that big guy to deal with. And then on the turn, he also told me that he really wants the best available tight end. That's going to be hard for me to do here, but I think I'm going to give him TJ Hawkinson. We know that he's third in PPR rankings right now in points. he's got a good schedule coming up as well. So I'll give him T.J. Hawkinson coming in at the 3rd round, and Sonny, you're up.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with the other guy that I almost took, and I'm surprised he fell to me, and it's Dalvin Cook. I know he's got a tough schedule, but, we got Madison, who's coming back from surgery, and it's Dalvin Cook. I mean, the guy is unstoppable, so, I feel good about that. He could, even if Christian McCaffrey doesn't come back, Dalvin Cook can drop 40 and make up for it, so we'll take it.
That's also true. I mean, this is a team of 5, so that's really pivotal, but yeah, no. Dalvin Cook in the 3rd round, that's actually kind of shocking to me.
I mean, you want to talk about a steal. I mean, come on.
That pretty much is a steal. Hey, I'm just going with Nate, what he wants for his players. But yeah, Dalvin Cook, that definitely is a steal. Mike, you are up for your 3rd pick.
Yeah, this is a rough one. But I'm going Aaron Jones.
All right.
I thought about taking a receiver here. I was kind of torn between a bunch of them. So I'm just going to
that's a good point. I think it was a good move too, because I was thinking about receiver, but I mean, when you see how deep it is, I mean, there are a lot of guys that I'll be more than happy to land, so I think it was a good move.
Yeah, no. Aaron Jones, I also believe he has a nice schedule coming up as well.
And it's cold, and he's a great player, and they're going to run the ball down the stretch.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even think Jamal Williams will get in the way of that. All right, I'm glad this guy actually got to me with the 3rd round. I'm gonna go in my flex spot with Tyreek Hill. The guy's been completely insane this year. I'm actually really happy that I got him because I don't have him in any of my leagues. It's nice to have him something right now. So I'll go with Tyreek Hill. I got 2 wide receivers and a running back, which means I need a quarterback and a tight end. We've just been talking about him and how hyped he is as tight end right now, having week 12, 13 points, and then week 13, 24 points against the Steelers. I'm going with my boy Logan Thompson, yep, for the tight end for the Washington football team. I think he'll do really well coming up with San Francisco, Seattle, and Carolina. So I'm going to go with Logan Thompson as tight end. Mike, you're up.
I'm hedging my bet here a little bit, but I'm going Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So if Aaron Jones doesn't do it for me, I think Aaron Rodgers will there.
He has been completely insane. Like the tight end difference between him and the other quarterbacks right now is unreal. This guy's on a mission. That's a great pick to have a quarterback. Sonny, you are up.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, if Tyreek Hill somehow fell to me, I would have happily taken him. But I look at the list and I see there's still a lot of elite receivers left. So I'm going to stack Travis Kelce with his quarterback and Patrick Mahomes.
All right. Patty Mahomes. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, it's only the 4 of us, but there's so many great players right now that we're just not picking. That it's kind of shocking, but we'll go through that after we have our picks done. But yeah, no, Patty Mahomes is great to pair up with Kelce. I really like that pick. Nate wanted me to do a quarterback. And looking through everything, I think it would be a nice addition if he gets his man that he wanted number 1, which is Russell Wilson.
Hurts. What?
No, I mean, he did have him on the list. But Russell Wilson was his first spot. Russell Wilson's kind of been struggling a little bit, but I think he thinks he's going to finish it up well. So Russell Wilson. And then I have to give him a flex spot. I'm going to do him the justice of giving him Justin Jefferson. He really likes Justin Jefferson, so I'll give him that.
Great pick.
Flex spot.
Love it.
That's a great team right there. Sonny, you are up.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Keenan Allen because, the dude is seeing, double-digit targets. He's got a rookie sensation at quarterback. I know it was an off game, but, I think he bounces back against your Falcons. So, big day coming.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big game coming for him. Mike, you are up. I believe you need a wide receiver, actually. So you have a lot of options right now.
I do, and I think I'm going to shock you guys with my pick. Even Diggs is up there, Hopkins is up there, but I'm going Robert Woods.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were about to say Ruggs for a second. I was waiting for that. Hey, and that Hail Mary, though, Mike. I mean, how'd you like that?
Well, up until that point, I was, slightly disappointed in the results of the plays that went his way with a fumble and a drop pass that led to an interception. But, obviously he kept in there and kept fighting and didn't drop the most important one. So
And he stayed in bounds. I know he's been struggling with that one.
it was, obviously, Ruggs is not the other rookie receivers. Like, I think everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to take CeeDee Lamb for sure," and then they didn't. And then I remember I didn't see that many other wide receivers, but I just remember watching Justin Jefferson in that championship game and being like, "Wait, what? Can we get that guy too? How did we get that guy?"
Hey, at least finally, I guess Ruggs finally had a game. Rager finally had a game. Chenault had a game. So hey, some of these rookies are starting to blossom late.
I
in the
wouldn't
season.
even call it a game. I mean, 16 points ish. Like,
for his standards,
Yeah.
low ceiling, but we'll take it.
Hey, the only reason I think Rager finally did well is because Jalen Hurts was finally in
Got a
the
real
game.
got a
and
real
those connections
quarterback.
really happened. I know,
Yeah.
and those connections really happened. He on point with the ball to Rager, and that for Nate, that must be a really good Christmas present for him. So that's a good thing.
Then you see Justin Jefferson though, and you're just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, true.
But it's hard to say that no one saw Justin Jefferson coming when he was like an absolute Destructotron monster in that NCAA title game.
I think Nate's justifying the Eagles' mishaps by taking Metcalf. Someone else they could have gotten. So I think he's making up for that front office.
I would agree with that. All right. I need a quarterback apparently for the last pick. I can't believe I'm doing this because I always make fun of him to my roommate, but I'm going to pick Josh Allen at quarterback after that performance last night. I think he definitely improved since last season, and sometimes he makes stupid decisions, but I mean, the guy threw for 4 touchdowns yesterday against a really good defense. So
we got to get him in that MVP conversation. The dude is getting overlooked. He looked like Aaron Rodgers last night.
Possibly
everywhere.
But Aaron Rodgers right now, when you look at the stats, he's just so much better than Josh Allen.
If Washington didn't already defeat the Steelers, that could have been a huge, huge win next week. But they look good. Potential division title. They're clicking. I think it's at least a debate, but we'll see how it goes. I think
if you're gonna throw him in there, throw Deshaun Watson in there.
Oh no, Deshaun Watson hands down. I don't think there's anyone, maybe besides Mahomes, that's playing better than Deshaun Watson. This guy is insane.
So sharp. He's so sharp.
Yes.
All right, so looking through all our teams right now, going to Nate. He has Nick Chubb, DK Metcalf, TJ Hawkinson, Russell Wilson, Justin Jefferson. Sonny, you got Travis Kelce, C-Mac, Dalvin Cook, Patty Mahomes, and Keenan Allen. Mike's got Darren Waller, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers, and Robert Woods. And I have Devontae Adams, David Montgomery, Tyreek Hill, Logan Thompson, and Josh Allen. Now,
got a feeling. I just have a feeling about Robert Woods, guys. It's just a hunch.
Just give me the title now, honestly.
We'll see. You won the Turkey Bowl. You won the Turkey Bowl. So
going back to back.
The Falcons defense the last 3 weeks has actually done opposite of what they did the first 10.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I don't know how well Keenan Allen's going to do next week.
Oh, he's a target machine, I think their run defense can honestly force them to throw the ball even more. So we'll see. It's a fair point, but we're talking about Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. Name a better duo.
I can name probably 16 of them last week.
I agree with that. But also,
Belichick is a different animal. Bounce back. We know we're all on the Herbert hype train. We know what Bill can do with rookie quarterbacks. I'm not looking too much into it.
That's very true.
I think I'm going to bench Herbert next week against the Falcons.
You got Brady, right? I think, Brady against Minnesota, that should be a shootout. I love Brady and I love Kirk Cousins this week.
Yeah,
I think they're both going to be on fire.
So looking at the really fantastic fantasy players that we have from this year, there's 2 guys we didn't pick, Alvin Kamara and Kyler Murray. So I mean, we
Ouch.
said with Alvin Kamara, I know I made a bet that he wouldn't do that well. He ended up doing. I mean, he did pretty good. I mean, if he didn't get that touchdown, he would have been under 10 points. So he's not his usual self getting like 20, 30 points, which is what you want from like these top guys right here. So I think that might be a reason why we didn't pick him. I mean, what's your guys' reasons?
I mean, when you're that talented, I mean, again, with Drew Brees, he's top 3. With Taysom Hill, he's still top 12. I mean, he's too talented to keep on your bench, and maybe just lower expectations. But he's always going to be a must-start guy, regardless.
I don't.
Right.
Yeah, come the winter time, I just chose horses, man. Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry in December. Sign me up, man. Old school.
Yeah, I mean, if we could have gotten another flex in here, I mean, Kamara would have been my first pick. So, I mean, I'm still
Okay.
super high on the guy. Like, he's right there. I mean, it's not a huge drop off for me personally.
Yeah, Mike, that's why I was going to ask you if you had another flex spot, who would you be picking right now on this list?
Probably Stephon Diggs, probably. I was really kind of going over that. Because, like, down the stretch, like, the AFC, I mean, now that the Chiefs are slowing down a little bit, the Steelers are slowing down a little bit. I don't think the Bills are going to get the top seed, but they could certainly surprise some people and maybe reach for the 2 if one of the other guys falls off. I don't know. But the games for the Bills down the stretch are going to be important.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And if you look at this, we did not pick AJ Brown or Corey Davis. And Corey Davis, I thought was someone to highlight with this.
What a
tight end.
monster day! I had him and Darren Waller last week.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of shocked that we didn't pick Corey Davis. Kind of shocked we didn't pick Deontay Johnson as well, or one of the Steelers receivers. I mean, look at Deontay Johnson's targets. This guy's insane.
Tyler Lockett, right? We didn't pick Tyler Lockett.
No, we did not pick Tyler
thought about
Lockett
him
as
too.
well. So it's interesting who we picked. I mean, Deontay Johnson has multiple targets since week 8. He has double-digit targets since week 8. That is kind of insane. And then also we didn't pick Eric Ebron, which, Mike, I know you're pretty high about him, and they performed well again last night. So that's also an interesting player that we did not pick at the tight end position.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, if I probably would have taken him at some point if Nate chose a tight end with the first pick. I knew Sonny was going to go with one of those. He was going if Kelsey was gone, you were going Waller, weren't you?
Oh, I know. I actually personally would not have. I would have let him fall to you at that point. I would have personally, if Kelsey was gone, I probably would have taken Derrick Henry.
Wow. Well, I got them both.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you sniped him. But yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at this board, I feel like a fake fan right now seeing Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins on the board.
I know DeAndre Hopkins.
There's just so many. I don't want the question marks. I mean, again, Kyler Murray he hasn't been the same since that Seattle game with the shoulder injury. So, I'm wondering what's going on right now. I still believe in Murray. I still believe in Hopkins, but there's definitely a little bit of concern. So, I'm hoping
I definitely agree with that.
Better.
And I really do think we're basing these picks off last week's performance or this most recent week's performance because we're kind of not including. I mean, you did include Christian McCaffrey, but we did not include either DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson, and we know how well those guys could compete, especially in PPR leagues. I mean, they're pretty vital in PPR leagues, and we are doing this on a PPR basis. So, did we forget about the Panthers players?
Well, I think it's a good point you brought up Robbie Anderson because, most likely DJ Moore, I think he tested positive, so he'll probably be out. And Curtis Samuel was a close contact on the reserve list. But either way, even if one or two of them is out, I mean, Robbie Anderson should see plenty of targets. He had a good game in his last appearance. So, I think Robbie Anderson could definitely have a big week.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And, just looking at your rosters, I'm going to ask Mike first and then Sonny. Mike, if you had to pick one guy that you're worried about for your roster right here, who would it be?
Oh, well, Robert Woods for sure. I just have this inkling that he's going to do, pretty well. I don't know what I could say about it. I just I don't know. I mean, look at his matchups. I guess the Jets, Seattle, New England could be tough, obviously, but the Jets and Seattle really stood out to me as games where he could go off.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would have to agree with that with Robert Woods. Sonny, for you, it has to be C-Mac, right? We don't know about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I mean, it has to be. I mean, again, if I'm getting a healthy C-Mac, I mean, just book it and give me the title now. But that's always a concern into it. If I'm shooting high, I'll take the floor and I'll take the ceiling. Ride or die. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that's with it right there, and I guess for me it'd have to be Logan Thomas. I mean we know he's doing well recently, but things could go wrong, especially on the Washington offense. So that's definitely my wild card. And if I had to pick one for Nate's team, honestly, I'm picking Russell Wilson. I'm worried if I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan right now, especially after what I know the Giants have a really good defense, but Russell Wilson has threw a couple picks here and there. So if I was Nate compared to the rest of the quarterbacks that we could pick up, I would be worried about Russell Wilson.
What
did I tell you? He's got the Rams. He's got the Rams in the playoffs too. And he didn't do that well against them, so that's tough.
Did I tell you the fun stat about Logan Thomas that I love?
What is it?
What's that?
So, all right. So, most rushing touchdowns in a season for a Virginia Tech quarterback is not Michael Vick.
Oh, wow.
It's Logan Thomas. Wow, well, it was until a couple years ago. But Logan Thomas had 11, right? Which is more than Michael Vick ever had in the season. But he's tied. He's tied for that record. Do you know it? Do you know it?
That's insane.
Do you know it? With Bruce Arians.
Oh my God.
They both had that. Bruce Arians in like the 70s had 11 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback, and so did Logan Thomas, in like 2014 or 2011 or something like that. 2011, I think.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that stat.
That's good. Some kid broke it in 2016, which is why it's not as fun of a stat anymore. But
yeah. Wow, that's actually a very interesting stat. So basically for this playoff bowl, this is how it's going to go. We're just going to accumulate the points from week 14 to 16. So who has the most points at the end, just like the Turkey Bowl. Sonny, you're our most recent winner from the Turkey Bowl. Let's see if you have a repeat here for the playoff bowl. But it's now time to get to our third topic, which is
RG3 didn't get me enough. RG3 didn't.
No, it did not get you enough. I even have to add up the points at the end. I'm like,
his hammy let him down. I think he was looking good till that hammy came along. So who knows? Maybe he could have had a 40-pointer.
Maybe. All right, guys, we are going to get back to the third topic, which is it is decided. So basically, we're going to pick players that we were hesitant about before, but clearing our minds are to perform strong during the playoffs. Don't mind my dog; just loves barking. So we're going to start off with Sonny. If you had to pick a player that you were hesitant, from week 10 to 13, but now they're clear, they're going to be a starter in the playoffs, who would it be?
Yeah, I mean Jarvis Landry. So his biggest problem was the bad weather games, but now back-to-back games, he's clearly the number one target. He has the highest floor, which is receptions, and he's the number one target in the offense, which is really clicking. So, I think he's a must-start guy at this point, especially in PPR formats.
And it was looking iffy, too, during the regular season, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't producing much without doubt, and he was banged up, too. So, now he's getting healthier, and now he's the man in the offense and better weather, hopefully, ahead.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. What a spectacular game against the Tennessee Titans. Mike, if you had to pick a guy, who would it be?
So there were two guys that I inspired this topic by thinking of these guys, and one is Wayne Gallman. Since Devonta Freeman went out, he's averaging 16 fantasy points a game. He was getting all those goal line touches. He didn't last week, but that's because he had over 100 yards. He averages 16 touches a game too in that span, and he's running back 28 overall, even though during the first 6 weeks of the season, he was only averaging 3 touches a game. So the guy's done a lot in a little bit of time, and that should continue. And then we talked about him earlier, Corey Davis. He has missed 2 games in the season, and he's wide receiver 22, whereas A.J. Brown is wide receiver 18. So if you did it all out, Corey Davis does have a higher points per game average than his teammate A.J. Brown. He did have the one goose egg in Chicago, but besides that, I mean, he's had over 10 points or 10 points or over, in every game. And then he probably made the playoffs for a lot of people last week.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Gallman. I was so mad because I had him on my team, and then Alfred Morris. He runs all the way down the field, and then Alfred Morris, bam, touchdown. He did the same thing. Alfred Morris, bam, touchdown.
Yeah.
It's like you're taking away this guy's points. He could have had 30 points.
Well, he's too valuable now to the Giants to give goal line touches to almost because of like before it was just like, all right, here's this guy. Let's see, give him the goal line touches. But now he's like actually a decent part of the offense. So
I think
you
it's
gotta
also
preserve
fair
him.
yeah. I think it's also fair to say that those touchdowns came after long runs by Gallman. So, maybe he needed a breather too. And, you just want all of that, for the goal line back, just put him in there and let him get his touchdown.
Yeah, you don't want to bank him up on the goal line when he's such an important part of their offense now.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. All right, so if I had to go for a guy, I was a little bit worried about the production of Robert Tonyan. But then over the recent weeks, this is clearly one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets besides Devontae Adams. And then he's playing the Lions, Carolina, Tennessee coming up. He has over 10 points in his last 3 weeks. So, Robert Tonyan, I'm definitely starting this guy at tight end for the playoffs. I'm excited to see what he's got. But he's going to be my deciding factor. Are there any other guys that you have for it is decided?
Yeah, so I actually want to talk about J.D. McKissick. So since week 4 all the way to week 13, he's had over 40 receiving yards in every game, besides 2 games, and both of those games were against the Cowboys. And now that Gibson, who knows how long he's going to be hurt, and even if he is playing, when they're down or in a competitive game script, McKissick is the receiving back. Alex Smith loves checking down. He's always going to see targets. So in PPR formats, me personally, actually, I'm starting him over Raheem Mostert in the playoffs. After what I saw from last night, I'll take the receptions from McKissick. So, I was hesitant even when Mike brought him up, way back early in the season. I was off McKissick. But now as an owner, I'm rolling him out, and I'm confident playing him in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's bad for people that really try to trade for Mostert. I really hope it pays out for those people, but now it's not paying out.
I mean, I'm hoping this week, I can just let him sit on my bench and they'll give him the reins, once he gets healthier. But I mean, right now I don't know how you can bench McKissick.
Yeah. I do have a question with Bills wide receivers. Besides Diggs, would you guys feel comfortable starting Beasley or Gabriel Davis come playoff time?
I will only start Beasley as long as John Brown is out.
Okay.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm still not trying to start him.
Yeah,
I'd rather start Kiki Tucci.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think Kiki's, I'm all in on that. I think you can get away with Beasley. Yeah, if you can get him, go ahead. If you have Fab, spend it all. What are you saving up for at this point? But yeah, I think Cole Beasley, I wouldn't expect anything like he did last night, but it's not the worst option. Now, low end flex, he's not going to kill you or anything.
Mike, any other it is decided players that you'd like to mention before we close it out?
No, I think an interesting topic is Tom Brady, though, that we were talking about before. Like, are you concerned? Are you going with him? Do you have a other player in there? Like, my mind gears towards it's Tom Brady and it's December, so I feel like I'm excited about starting him. I am. So we'll see what happens. I'm going with him over Herbert, and I don't know. Maybe I will the whole playoffs.
Brady's fairly easy to judge too. If he's not playing in prime time, roll him out because as long as it's not his bedtime, he's gonna be balling. So I think as long as he doesn't have any night games, just keep rolling him out there.
And one more question that I was about to ask you guys before we close out, and I did do this on the Fantasy Aces League. I actually started Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson, and it paid off. Do you think Kirk Cousins being a quarterback going into the playoffs, do you think that's a little too risky? Or
Oh, no. I love Kirk Cousins, especially this week. Again, he has an amazing matchup with the Buccaneers. Should be a high-scoring matchup, potential shootout. So, again, keep rolling him out there, especially this week.
All right. It is decided. That is all we have for today's episode. Listen to us on Facebook and YouTube. Also follow us on Inside the Hashes. Check out our Insta and Twitter accounts at Inside Hashes. Also, check out our website where you can look at other podcasts aired out on RPO. We'll see you guys next Tuesday at 7 p.m. I really hope that the first week of the playoffs goes well for you guys, and stay safe out there.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye.